Hey everyone, welcome to Super Fun Sunday. This is Richard Friend, and we are going to look at some art today. So, this was recommended last weekend. I asked in the video for people to give recommendations of artists that we could look at that come from a line of ideas and style and approach. And I added one or maybe two artists to this lineage, and there's others that I'm going to mention. So essentially, the comic book artists that we will look at later in the video are Dave McKean and Bilstein Kevich. What we're going to look at beforehand is we're going to look at Bernie Fuchs and BARRON STOREY. And I would consider these styles to be illustrative. I would consider these styles to have fine art elements. I would consider these styles to sometimes be more referenced looks, very painterly, very almost impressionistic at times. It covers a lot of ground. Earlier in Dave McKean's career, you will see more similarities to Bilstein Kevich. As McKean got more into mixed media, his stuff changes a bit, but we'll touch on a little bit of everything. Some other artists that I would mention if you enjoy this video and maybe haven't checked out would be there was a Disney artist named Herb Ryman who I'm a huge fan of. I actually loved his stuff as a little kid and didn't know what his name was, but I had seen these prints at Disneyland of his work, but he was the designer for the park. It's Herb, Herb, Ryman, Ryman. You might like fine artist Francis Bacon's work. You might like Mead Schaefer. You might like there was a couple more that I was going to throw in. Robert Fawcett. There's many artists that have gone through this. I mean, even at times Drew Struzan has kind of dipped his toe into some of these approaches. So again, one thing that you will see is that they're generally kind of slightly more realistic representations. All right, so let's get into this. What is this going to be? It's going to be super fun. All right, so this is Bernie Fuchs. Fuchs is incredible. I really love his work. I'm gonna push out my curtain a little bit. I'm getting some glare. It was just easier to do a video today. I'm going to go into full screen mode because we don't really need to go in any kind of order. And I'm really going to zoom in on these pieces. I keep kind of reminding myself when we look at the art that the big view actually is the best. Sometimes I pull out a little bit and try to show it a little smaller, show the whole piece. But we'll look at both reads. But I mean, you could definitely see where someone like Bilstein Kevich has some similarities to a little bit of this. My favorite probably Bilstein Kevich book that he's done is he did an adaptation of Moby Dick. That's probably my favorite work that he's done. I like a lot of his stuff, and yeah, for whatever reason that one to me is just one of my favorites. So let's continue. We've got a lot of art to look at. So hold on a second. Hit this. All these images were found online, so you can just use Google and look around. For the Bernie Fuchs, and it's Fuchs. One contemporary artist that I've seen incorporating a little bit of what I would consider Bernie Fuchs isms is you'll see Coypel sometimes in his backgrounds use these sort of washy effects that will look a little bit like this. Levels a little bit. I'm gonna actually brighten this, but this very dappled sort of like lighting. So I don't know if he's getting it from Bernie's work, but he could be. Beautiful painting. I mean, I could look at this stuff all day long. In fact, I was really excited to do this video all week. Being 100% honest, I was really looking forward to this. I work a lot. I don't have a lot of opportunities to look at art, and so doing videos like this with you actually does give me a huge opportunity to enjoy some art and not feel guilty about it. Not that I feel guilty when I'm like studying, but you know what I mean? Like it's like I'm like I have to do Super Fun Sunday, so lo and behold, I'm gonna need to look at art today. This is beautiful. Again, it's I love the sort of suggestive quality of it. It lets you really kind of use your imagination. The lighting is gorgeous. It's just really pretty work. And just to remind people, if you can, please smash the like on this video. and hit the notification bell if you haven't on my channel. Honestly, your interaction just in the last few videos has really helped me on YouTube already. It's noticeably moving forward, so I really appreciate it, and I'll continue to deliver as long as we can keep this thing trucking. This is great. This is tighter than some of the other pieces that you see from him, but you know, some of this work, if not a majority of it, may have been done for jobs, and so you know the demands of the job sometimes will definitely define you know, the look. You know, you might be dealing with an art director and they're like, no, we need to see the cigarettes and the shoes. We're trying to sell both. I like this I can't think of what this is called, like Bilstein, is that what it is? It's kind of pretty cool. This is cool. Again, it's just incredible how he layers paint, and really the pieces all breathe. There's just this really nice atmosphere to things. Very fun to look at. So again, if you're interested in interacting with these videos, what I'm looking for is a comic book artist that you enjoy, maybe a comic book artist or illustrator that influenced them, and then if you can go even one further than that, something outside of comics that possibly. Oh, Gustav Klimt was another one that I was going to say. I knew I would remember, but Klimt you definitely see in Bilstein Kevich's work, and probably in McKean too. Definitely Sienkiewicz. I mean, I see him using Klimtisms. Sometimes people, not Bill, but they get very surfacey with things. It's like they focus in on like the kiss, and that's like the only Gustav Klimt you know, piece that they swipe from, or whatever you want to call it, are inspired by. But you know, go deeper than that. These artists created years of work. Promise you can find many more images that you'll enjoy. I love these big scans. It's just so great to see the texture of the canvas and really enjoy the paint and just how it looks. It's really beautiful. It's got a pretty neat looking signature. Again, it's a BF. This is cool. This looks very Sienkiewicz-y to me. Periods of Bill's work. It's incredible how much of the canvas you can see through it. It means it's very diluted paint going down. It's almost like an underdrawing, just with some tightening up. Really nice. This is cool. He actually uses a pretty wide palette of colors too, which I like, and you know, obviously we see that with Bill. But yeah, this is really neat. Really cool. I love how hot it gets over here. Like the color range, really, the saturation really kind of ramps up. This is nice. Nice design, you know. It's the compositions on all these pieces seem to be quite nice. This almost feels a little tiny bit like it could be a spread. I don't think it is based on where his signature is placed, but could have been for a magazine illustration. It's really difficult to say what the circumstances, and it could be a personal piece. I honestly don't know. Again, bigger is better, Rich. Remember this. Zoom in all the way. When I watch them back, I'm always like, you could go bigger. Go big, go home, right? That's what they say. Look at that. Oh, man, it's so cool. I think you guys are really going to like BARRON STORY stuff. I'm going to assume that a lot of people might not know his work. A lot of people might not know this art. BARRON STORY's name is spelled a little unusually. I believe it's BARRON STOREY. And I remember years ago, I have a book of his, but I would like search for him online. I would be misspelling it, and it wouldn't give me recommendations, and it was really frustrating because I'd always be like, I know it's his name, but why is nothing coming up? Then I'd finally like hit it with other like sort of search terms. That's so good. very psychedelic colors. You know, another artist that Maxfield Parrish probably influenced these guys a little bit. I definitely was getting a sense of that. It's just in the mix. Parrish would use very, very saturated colors. This is great. Man, this is beautiful. Such a different color palette too. This almost feels like a study in some ways. It's very loose down here, but really, really beautiful. Man, the fact that he's doing this traditionally too is so impressive, because it's one thing now with color sampling and stuff like that. I mean, you know, a digital colorist could just take this piece and work within these color ranges and, you know, again, saturation and value and whatnot, and kind of keep it locked into this look. This guy's doing this with paint, and that is really impressive. I love the little bit of peach light coming from here. You've got this really beautiful kind of pink reflective light. All this, it's really, really nice. And it's an unusual color palette. Berkey is pretty famous for his golf paintings. I didn't see a lot of them online, so I don't know if that was just something that I believed was the case, and maybe I was mistaken a little bit. But I always thought that was kind of like his main thing. What is going on? I'm just wanna. Oh, the rulers are showing. Let me just get out of this for a second. View. Get that off. I don't want the rulers on the full screen. It's annoying me. If I'm full screen, I want to be full screen. And this is nice. I mean, he's got a little tiny bit of texture on the grass, which is neat, because we haven't seen a lot of that with actual like strokey sort of vibes. I'm not a painter, but there's different brush bristles that will create techniques like this. It doesn't look like a knife to me, like a palette knife. It looks more like maybe like a hog hair brush, one of those really stiff bristle brushes that he used. Granted, there's a little bit more paint going down too, so it's a more dense application. But you know, this is, you're really seeing just strokes of paint on an underpainting. It's pretty wild. Okay, we got one more of this, so this is nice. And now we're going to get into Barron Story, and Barron is where you're going to really start to see some of the very introspective kind of, it's pretty chaotic and quite intense. I like this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm a big fan of Francis Bacon and some really, really weird, intense art. Salvador Dali. But Story is wild. So this is just off of his Instagram. But let me just grab a chunk of these. We'll move through some of this a little quicker. I didn't have time to, I really wasn't sure I was going to be able to do this video. I kind of have cold or allergies attacking me. But we'll look at some of Barron's work, and then we're going to get into Dave McKean, and then we'll get into Bill. I think probably more comic book artists would be like, Bill's done a lot of superhero stuff, whereas McKean's kind of stayed in sort of more of an eclectic lane to some extent. I'm going to take a sip of water really quick while this is all opening. But yeah, if you can come up with any sort of like chain of artists, you don't need to complete it for me, but if you could just like give me the comic book artist, and then maybe like one or two other artists that you think kind of have similarities, and then I can kind of rack my brain for some other connections. David Cho is a big fan of Barron Story's work. If you know who David Cho is, I mean, you can definitely see the influence on him. So anyway, this is really, really cool. It's nice. A beautiful color palette, really fun drawings, and it doesn't really look like Phil Hale, but some of these pencil drawings are reminding me a little bit of Phil. Again, it doesn't look like Phil's stuff. It's just I haven't looked at Goad in a long time, and Goad had a lot of pencil drawings in it. It's really, really nice. Man, it's great. Very fancy. So these are some pen and inks, or I don't know, it looks like pen and ink to me. This is pretty cool. Oh, we'll just go in the full screen mode. Like I said, I'm going to go through these a little tiny bit quick. See, this has a little bit of like a SIENKIEWICZ vibe. Vice versa, but you know what I mean. It's I don't really know what they call it. I never went to art school, so I just have kind of cobbled all this information together, just kind of enjoying art. But I don't know. I guess they just call it like illustration. If anyone's a little more sort of hip to the terms that they might use in art school for this type of stuff, I'd be curious. But I mean, look, you show this to someone right here and say, "Who do you think this is?" I think that people would comic book fans might definitely guess Bilstein Kevich. I mean, do you agree? You think so, Kitty? Okay, my cat agrees. Story really covers a lot of ground. It was interesting as I was noticing that a lot of the pictures that I had in my book were square images, which was kind of funny because this would a lot of his body of work was done before Instagram, but based on the book that I had, his work would be quite Instagram friendly. Is this cool? Some of the line work is reminiscent of Topi. Again, just probably a coincidence more than anything. You start doing curved cross hatching and stuff like that, and any kind of sort of exotic like subject matter, and it kind of will look that way. I'm trying to think. There's another artist I'm thinking of. I can see a mono being into this. This kind of has like a little bit of a mono flavor. It's. I won't say the artist name, but like I was talking about, like people being into Gustav Klimt, and it's like they just pull from like one piece. This like triangle technique to me, like when I see some artists use it, I'm like, come on, man, like I get it. Go a little deeper, bro. But I can be kind of an asshole, so I want artists to be unique. I respond to that a lot, and so when I see people just doing kind of very base level, sort of inspiredness, it's like I want to kick them in the nuts and tell them to like step it up. This is interesting. It look like it's like from like a little bit of a notebook or something like that. This is cool. I like this. This drawing right here is really neat. Oh man, look at this. So I mentioned in a video earlier in the week that Brian Boland actually contacted me out of the blue about my video that I had done of him, and he was complimentary of the video. He had some corrections of guesses that I had made for techniques and stuff like that, and I'm going to try to set up an opportunity to have Brian on. And if you watch the other video, I kind of talked about I had sort of a unique idea with him, which is to not necessarily interview him, but to actually hang out with him and look at art together and kind of fanboy out with Brian Boland. Because I'm aware that he's done a couple of interviews recently, and they're quite long, and I figure his comic book career probably have been covered pretty well. But it would be really fun to just, like, he could give me a list of artists that he's a fan of, and we could sit and look at the stuff and talk to him about it and say, like, what do you like about this? What did you learn about it? Thought it would be really interesting, something maybe a little different for him. And most artists do enjoy talking about art. So it would be really fun and interesting. So I was finishing a book right now, so I'm going to contact him as soon as I'm done. I should be done like 4 days. This is cool. So we'll do a couple more of these, and then we're going to get into the Dave McKean stuff. But anyway, so this is BARRON STOREY. Really, really good artist. Very, influential in his own way. Probably not known. It's like he's not as much of a household name as some. And again, if you like this stuff, I would definitely check out Francis Bacon. I'm sure if you do like this, you're probably already aware of Bacon, but Francis Bacon does some pretty intense stuff. It's cool. Yeah, it's funny. I some of this stuff reminds me of a mono, like when a mono just sort of like does like experimental work. It's interesting. And this is again all off Instagram, so you could totally go find all this. Bill Sienkiewicz does a lot of this with the text and whatnot on it. I'd be curious if like for someone like BARRON STOREY, where he got his ideas from, like the writing on the pieces and whatnot. I could see it was funny. I saw the KW and it made me think of Kent Williams, but I would say like an artist like Kent Williams would be a fan of work like this. It's not like Kent's evolved a lot over the last like 15 years. His work is definitely gone sort of like to another level. This is cool. In an old issue of Heavy Metal, they did a spotlight on BARRON STOREY, and I had ripped out all the pages and had them in like a binder forever. And it was funny as I think when I met Lee Bermejo, he had something kind of similar, and he had them in his like binder too. I was like, oh, it's funny. You and I are a lot alike, buddy. Buddy. Oh, that's cool. Skull's always cool. That was nice. I like these fingers right here, actually. Really good. Looks cool. Okay, so... Oh, that's nice. Alright. We are going to shut these and then get into Dave McKean. This will be a really long video if I spend too much time on each artist. We're already almost 30 minutes in. Oh, that was cool. Oh, that's really nice. Would be fun to have a sketchbook where you just fill with fun stuff like this. Very sort of spontaneous drawings. I know I probably the first time I saw it was James Jean was just starting to kind of make an appearance online. He may have still actually been in art school at the time, and he had like a website and a blog up. And his sketchbooks were really incredible, and he would do all these like just amazing sort of like improvisational. There was some figure studies and stuff like that in it, but that really kind of, to me, set like a new bar of like what a sketchbook could be. It kind of messed me up honestly for a while because it was so good that kind of you want to sort of reach those heights, but James was already a beast. All right, so I have comics for Dave McKean, so I tried to kind of grab stuff that was a little bit older and like a little less mixed media. So we'll just grab a big hunk of pages and then and look, this is one thing that I tried to do is I honestly wanted to avoid stuff that was really obvious. So I figured if we're gonna look at art, let's look at like we all know he did Arkham Asylum. I have it, but I've done videos on Arkham Asylum. I wanted to just look at like some stuff that maybe we hadn't seen as much. So Cages isn't as old as I thought because this is already looking different, but this is nice. Okay, so we'll just go in full screen mode. Again, we'll move through some of the pages a little bit quicker and some a little bit slower, just depending on the level. You think so? That's a good idea, Kitty? Okay. This is nice. And this stuff is where you start to really see like an influence on comic book artists, where for people that maybe haven't gone further back, you'll see things like this in their work. This is nice. Teddy Christensen has a little bit of this sort of, I don't know, this it'd be funny, this could be a short story by Teddy Christensen, and I'm being a dummy, but this reminds me a little bit of Teddy's stuff, but it's nice. I really like the way he's drawing these heads. No, I think this is McKean. It's actually really fun to see pen and ink stuff from him like this. Oh man, that's great. Oh, I love that bottom panel. That is so good. Let's zoom in. Bigger is better, Rich. Come on. It's your mantra now. Put it on a shirt. Super Fun Sunday, where bigger is better. Can move through that page faster, and that page faster, and that page faster. This one. And this is Cages. If you want to check out the book, I mean, you could always like get it. I have the hardcover of it. This is cool. Kitty. Oh, this is interesting. Some of these artists will actually kind of go in and out of different styles as they tell the story. Like you can see these are more like kind of washy, painterly looking, and then it gets into this look. Now, you know, you can use that as a storytelling tool. Actually like how he handled the black cat, where it's just a silhouette with a little tiny bit of white kind of showing other things. I think that's a really interesting approach to it. Animal fur, just in general, is kind of a pain in the ass to illustrate. And in particular, if you're going to need to be drawing the pet multiple times. It's actually a nice little drawing, even though it's also quite sexy. This is cool. Great storytelling. Man, it's awesome. Would be interesting to do a sequence with an animal kind of cruising around and checking things out. I think that'd be kind of fun. Some of these may be drawovers on photos. I mean, he definitely was doing that in like this is actually a photograph with just some like paint over it. I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that he definitely does that at times. These are clearly drawn. He's got like some music notes up there. It's interesting. That's cool. Okay, so a little quicker. I was curious to see some of the early stuff. Like I said, I have a lot of art open. Yeah, John Van Fleet does a lot of stuff like this too. He uses a lot of shapes. In fact, you know, Tony Harris was doing it too on like Starman. I'm not really sure what his process is anymore. Okay, so let's check this out. This is what I was interested in seeing. Man, that is really cool. I like weird, creepy stuff. Goes without saying. But yeah, that's really cool. And you've got a butt. But right, let's see. I talked about this before, but when Scott Doombier was at Wildstorm, Scott Doombier is the guy that's sort of the creative genius behind the Artist Edition books at IDW, but he was an art dealer and then editor-in-chief at Wildstorm. But when he was an art dealer and he came into Wildstorm, he had Wolverine Havoc original art from John J. Muth and Kent Williams, I think, did them. Maybe it's just Muth. But oh my god, I remember seeing those pieces in person, and they're kind of this color, like everything is sort of this weird like sepia color, and I was just like, oh my god. One, I couldn't believe that he actually had them, and had them for sale too. It's probably out of my price range, but a little bit of this is mixed media. There's definitely some different things going around. I mean, McKean got to the point where he was actually doing like dioramas where he would literally build like wood boxes and put things in objects d'art. You think so too, Kitty? Or you want me to move your bed? Here. My cat wants to lay in the sun behind me. Here. There. Now you're good. But yeah, McKean really got creative with all the stuff that he did. In a way, this actually looks a little bit like oh, what's his name? Ralph Stedman. I mean, again, it's just a coincidence, but like Ralph Stedman, if you know his work, has this very kind of frantic, like loose structure, very sort of suggestive. Let's see this. That's cool. Man, that's nice. But yeah, there's so many great artists. I mean, it's interesting because sometimes I don't I don't consider myself to be super knowledgeable on art, to be honest. It sounds funny because probably to some of you you're like, man, you know a lot of shit, but there's always more to learn. So I mean, to be 100% honest, I mean, I'm always trying to add more to the knowledge banks, because eventually I talk about this on Patreon quite a bit, and in fact I'm gonna plug Patreon because I don't enough. If you haven't been to my Patreon, I mean, I would highly recommend it. It's still only $1 to get in, which is ridiculously cheap for what I have there. But I have probably 600 to 700 videos. There's all kinds of art education, inking, penciling, like the psychology of being an artist, how to get out of slumps. I mean, I cover everything. It's so good. It's one of those things that I think that the people that have been a part of it while it's going on, because I talk about it, it's not a forever thing. There will be a point where I'm going to be too busy to be doing all this different stuff that I'm doing. In fact, it's coming sooner than later. So take advantage of it now, because when it's gone, it will be gone. I mean, I'm not going to pull the videos down, but I'll probably repurpose some of the information. This is great. But I'll have a link for that. But yeah, you know, any opportunity that you have to put more ideas in your toolbox is incredibly important and a powerful thing that artists do, and you end up just having a huge reference file in your mind. It's not about going and grabbing a book as much as you just have an awareness of art. You can just switch gears. I need to go into Francis Bacon mode. I need to go into Mead Schaefer mode. I need to get a feel of Herb Ryman. I need to have a little bit of Ralph Stedman. It's just all there for you at some points. This is cool. Again, you can see there's like even little screws and stuff like that in there. Oh, those little doll hands. Look like my hands. I have little tiny hands. This is cool. Okay, so we're gonna get out of this one and we're gonna go into some others. That's cool. Actually, let's slow down a little bit. This could be a little bit of a piece of a painting that he actually cut out and then stuck on this other thing. I mean, and you start getting into stuff like this. Now you're looking at artists like Ashley Wood. You know, Ash does a lot of things that probably, you know, just little ideas are sparked by seeing things. I really want to have Ashley Wood on my channel, to be honest. I really like Ash a lot. I think he would do it, and it would be fun to just talk art. Again, I think my angle is honestly to just have people to come on and enjoy art together. I mean, the interview thing is cool, but it's like, okay, yeah, let's check out this. This looks good. Yeah, so this is Black Dog. I'd not seen this before, but this is some really, really interesting stuff. So we'll go to, let's go to right here. This is fun. I'm digging this. Okay, it doesn't look as old as I thought. One of the books that I grabbed is definitely earlier in his career. I think it was 89. And we'll go into full screen mode once we get it. So, man, this looks like concept art. That's crazy. So this is definitely some sort of mixed medium. You can see little pieces of photo and almost looks like I don't even know. I don't even want to guess. This is grass. Oh, man, that's nuts. It looks so good. You know, so for McKean, it's possible that he was like influenced by like Storm Thorgerson, who's an album cover designer, Hypnosis. Aubrey Powell is a photographer that worked for Hypnosis. These guys are super, super badasses. Sadek, Jan Sadek, you might like. My gosh, so much good shit. And this is like, it doesn't look like Odd Nerdrum, but even Odd Nerdrum might be someone that you might be interested in. He's like Rembrandt meets Giger. Or something. Goya. He's like Rembrandt, Goya, and like with the scariness of Giger, but not all the biomechanical stuff. But Odd Nerdrum stuff is pretty wild. Wow, that is great. Look at that. Damn, those are nice drawings. The hands are looking cool. World War One, man, that was brutal. Wow, that's really cool. Man. You can really see the texture of the paper. It's funny. And then we got these swatches of fancy schmancy color. Really pretty, actually. It's interesting when you paint and you do stuff like this, because a lot of times, depending on the mediums and stuff that you use, it looks so beautiful when it's wet, and then it dries and it just doesn't have that pop. But when you scan it, you can kind of sort of bring it back to life a little bit. But yeah, it's interesting how I think it probably from a little further away would still read kind of fancy, but yeah, when it's still alive and it hasn't like congealed or dried, oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. That's cool. Oh man, look at that. Oh, it's so cool looking. Damn. Gosh, that is so crazy. So it'll be an interesting video for people. This is definitely a slightly different demographic than uh, some comic art, we'll say. Choose your words carefully, Rich. We don't want to be that guy. No, I like it all. Sometimes you want a popcorn movie, sometimes you want an arty farty film, right? Like an art film. It's pretty cool. There's this art dealer that's at Comic Con every year. Oh, I'm never gonna remember. It's been like, I feel like I haven't been to Comic Con in a million years now. They represent Phil Hale, maybe McKean. They definitely sell Phil Hale stuff. God, what is the name of his gallery? It's like a guy's name, I think. Anyway, but he'll have stuff like this, like on the wall, like just a couple. He doesn't usually bring a ton of art, but the stuff that he brings is really good. But oh man, yeah, you see the stuff in person, you're just like, whoa. Ashley Wood has a different art dealer, but Ash's stuff is actually really, really cool to see in person too. Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's oh, look at this. This is nice. Damn. Wow, this is great. Oh my god, it's so good. Wow, jeez Louise. This is a really, really beautiful page. I'm not 100% sure if this is all, excuse me, on one sheet of paper. Sometimes these artists will work on like they'll do panels. It doesn't look like anything's cut out. Man, this is like one board, and all of this is on one board. Man, what a cool piece. Yeah, it's really, really neat. Okay. I don't know why some of this reminded me a tiny bit of Trad Moore. Someone had asked about me doing a Trad Moore video. I actually think that I have for Patreon. I don't know if I've done one for regular YouTube. A lot of times, sometimes for main YouTube, I'm not super, super comfortable doing contemporary artists that are currently working. I think that it's just it was a tricky decision to make when you're looking at someone's art and they currently work, because like I said, Brian Boland emailed me. It's like you don't talking about someone's art while they're currently working can be a little funky. It feels that way to me, especially as an artist, because you know I'm an active artist, so I try to be as respectful as possible. But you start speculating on technique and what they do. It might piss off some people, where they're like, "Oh, is this guy talking about my art? Go do your own art." So I get it. I like actually this effect on I can't think of what the hat's called. Okay, we're gonna get into another McKean book. We will look at a little bit of Arkham Asylum. I'll pull up a few for you guys. So this one was Black Dog. It's called. Man, it's really cool. Oh, it's funny. That's really cool. That's interesting. The Dreams of Paul Nash. I don't know. Paul Nash may have been a soldier, fought in World War One. So the tragic, maybe it's Violent Cases. I was thinking. Like I said, we'll do one more. Yeah, let's look at a little bit of this. Let's get to here, and then we're gonna get into a little tiny bit of the Arkham Asylum, and then we're gonna get into Sienkiewicz. Oh, I was gonna say, man, did he draw the texture on that jacket? Really clever. You know, it's a photo of that texture, and then he just kind of cut it out and used it almost like a zipatone. I've kind of it's interesting is I've considered the idea of actually making my own zipatone, like screen tones and stuff like that. I just the one thing that I don't want is I don't want it to yellow over the years. So it's like the adhesive and the actual clear paper that you would use would be pretty important. But that'd be kind of fun. It's just something interesting to experiment with. I would never know how it was going to age though. Just using it day one. There are Japanese companies that still sell it. I just think it's like I like the value on pages. Oh, that's cool. That's cool too. Really, really nice. You start seeing stuff like this. It starts to look a little like Sean Gordon Murphy. Punch. Oh, that was a book that Dave did. It's a nice little sequence with this lady. It reminds me of Bilstein Kevich's Big Numbers. A little. Man, that's a great sequence. Damn. That's crazy. That's really cool. Yeah, it's really nicely done. Her. That is really cool looking. Oh my gosh. Okay. Oh yeah, full screen mode. My apologies. Bigger's better, Rich. Super Fun Sunday. Get yours on YouTube. What's it gonna be? There's that fabric again. I always, I always wonder what the choices are in terms of when they go to the pencil sketch thing, and definitely Bisley brought in elements of this, in particular on Slain. You can see it, but yeah, it's always interesting when they switch mediums. You kind of go. Are the flashbacks, the pencil sketchy ones, and then they use more of a painted look for the more modern day. What's the rule book in their mind for when they're going to go what direction, and it could just be sort of a spur of the moment sort of decisions, and then later you can kind of piece it together. Sometimes it sort of tells you, and you look back and you go, oh, that's really interesting. It was like definitely was on this sort of track with this. Okay, so this is cool. I mean, I would definitely say Chris Bachalo probably got a little bit from these guys. It's nice. Okay, now we're going to look at just a couple of pages from the legendary Arkham Asylum. And then we're going to get into Bill Sienkiewicz. What we're going to do with Sienkiewicz is we're actually just going to look at all the stuff that he's been uploading on Instagram, because to be quite honest, it covers a lot of ground. I'm going to start, like I said, I've done videos on Arkham Asylum, so I'm going to start further along in the book. We'll grab these Joker pages because they're so iconic, but we'll do this chunk right here really quick. But yeah, if you want to see like a full video where I go over this, just do that. Do. Sorry if I'm sniffling a lot. Like I said, I've got really, really bad allergies. I almost wasn't going to shoot a video today. I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to make it through. This is nice. I wonder how many copies of this they've sold. It's it seems like it's one of those must-have books for like everyone. I have, I don't know, at least 3 or 4 copies of the hardcover. I think I actually have the 25th anniversary edition with the script in it. Bigger. Oh. If you're following me on Instagram, I actually am starting to post a lot more art. So I'm taking that sort of mentality and pushing forward. So it should be pretty fun for people that want to see what I'm working on. I've been sharing behind the scenes. I'm curious if I'm going to get a tap from the company because I didn't really ask for approval. This is all my own doing. I like the promo pieces that I pick better. I think my teases are good. I got it under control. I've been doing this a long time. I know what the fans want, what they want to, like, what gets them ramped up to want to see the book. This is cool. Ah, it's a really nice, man, it's really cool. Man, that's so cool looking. This is great too. Only you can help me. Little lace. Or is it lace? Something. Some sort of crinkly paper. You can take a fabric like that and actually put paint on it and then just touch it to your board and apply, paint or ink if you want to get into super fancy things. This is like lace that's actually been put down and then a little bit of paint over it. I mean, this is, you can see Sienkiewicz and Dave are just so similar in some of this stuff in good ways, but yeah, if you're a fan of one, you definitely would be like vibing on the other. I almost was gonna do the I have the Bilstein Kevich Mutants and Moon Knights and Assassins IDW book, but it would have been hard to bounce back and forth between files and the book itself. This is cool. Whoa, that almost got away from me. All right, we are going to head into Bilstein Kevich now, and we'll look at these last few Batman pieces and get some of those nice Joker shots. If I'm not mistaken, he had a mask made for the Joker that he used as reference, something like that. So I feel like I've actually seen a photo of it. I mean, outside of the book, but I could be wrong on that. But I don't know why, but I thought something like that. Again, I'm sort of half basing it on memory and half on folklore. I think that's right. Stuff like this, I'm sure he just drew. This guy can draw his ass off, so. Mommy, can I go out and kill tonight? Would be a good song for this this like sequence. Jesus. That's really cool right there. Oh, another artist that has a little bit of similarities to some of that illustrator-y style thing is John Berkey. I used to always think his last name was Berkeley, but he's a sci-fi like ship painter, architect guy. Like broad strokes. Like if you're a fan of Sid Mead, you probably know John Berkey stuff. But Berkey kind of uses some of these elements, the patchy sort of paint approach and stuff like that. I should definitely do a video on his stuff. He's kind of one of my first like I don't know what you call it, like concept artist guys that I was following. Saw his book at probably just like one of those comic book stores that has like a little bit of a deeper catalog of things that they sell, and was like, oh man, this looks really cool. But okay, oh yeah, that's cool. What is it, Kitty? I like the lighting on the mouth, how it goes in the shadow. The planes of his face stick out so far, it's actually like covering his mouth. It makes it pretty intense. Man, it's so cool. This was a wild time for comics. This is quite a bit before I started collecting, but I would assume as a fan, getting some good stuff coming. Telephone. That's really cool, and it's nice. It's you can get a little bit of that Bernie Fuchs-ish color thing. It does, it's not exactly, but it's like a little that sort of dapple. Oh, it's so good. Oh my gosh. Wow, what a beautiful piece. The Sienkiewicz Moby Dick book has this kind of vibe to me, and oh my god, that's like a book that, like, if I see it, I buy it, even though I have multiple copies of it, just so that if I ever need to find one, it ups my odds of being able to find it quicker, because sometimes it gets like lost in the shuffle. Like, I don't know where one is right now, but I have enough where I could find it quicker than some things. So that's a pro tip. If you really like a comic and it's still affordable, it's like Classics Illustrated, so it's not a comic. It's like a little bit of a square bound graphic novel, but soft cover, but like thicker cardboard. The Hendrix book is good. I mean, a lot of people will obviously Electra Assassin and all that stuff, but okay. Let's finish this up. That's pretty cool. Oh, I like those fingers. Yeah. Wow, that's cool. Man alive. That's so creepy. Just soaking it in. For future mental Rolodexing. Snapshots with your mind. That's what I'm trying to teach my patrons to do. This is cool. Again, we've got the Barron Story sort of thing going on a little bit. Looks like Sienkiewicz, so the dots are all connecting. Wow, that is so cool. Would an Arkham Asylum game with this Joker would be pretty wild. Oh man. That's so cool. Gosh. Let the Feast of Fools begin. For a split second. Oh, he is. I was like, I was looking at something else, but my peripheral vision caught this, and I was like, oh, it's funny. Like, out of the corner of my eye, it looks like he's grabbing Batman's ass, and then he was. But I was looking at something else. I just kind of saw it. It's like, Rich, you've got a dirty mind. It's like, oh no, my mind is right on point. Ah, that's so good. Oh, it's a really nice gesture. I like how his shoulders are lifted and his head is kind of dipping down. Yeah. It's funny, you can see a little bit of the structure that we saw in some of the pen and ink work. That, remember I was saying it kind of looked like Teddy Christensen. You can see that when he draws, sometimes those proportions happen just by happenstance. This guy's head's crazy. And that's really, really cool and iconic. Okay, and that's the last one from this. Beautiful, beautiful paints on this. Oh man, I could live in that. That's really good too. Wow, it's intense. We're going with the bigger is better. You're like, yes. Hopefully most people watch these on like something that's a decent sized screen. It would be tough to watch this like on a phone. Okay, now we're going to get into Bilstein Kevich. And again, what I did for Bill was he posts such a neat variety of stuff on his Instagram. It was just perfect because it hit everything. He shows panels from comics, illustrations. I mean, it's such a good mix of things. So really, we're not going to go wrong anywhere. We'll start here and then move it. Sometimes with Instagram, people will post the same piece multiple times. So if we see repetitive things or things like small scans, we can kind of skip over it. But here's the cover of Electra Assassin. We've got the very stylish, like, silhouette, the real hard, kind of chunky lines. It's feels pen and ink, but painted too. This is nice. I believe there's a connection. Oh, it was I was going to say Neil Adams and Bill, but Bill early in his career was heavily influenced by Neil Adams is what it was. But I was like, I have a couple of friends that work for Neil Adams, so I was confusing that with Bill just being influenced by him. But man, that's great. Oh gosh, look at this. Wow, that is really cool. Wow, what a great piece. Well, bigger is better, but come on, let's go. Super fun Sunday where bigger is better. Man, that is so cool looking. Gosh. I was following Drew Struzan on Twitter, and Drew actually posts just about every day. And it's, man, just when you see a Struzan come up every day, it really is quite enjoyable. It's like, he's so good. But I would really be curious of if Drew knows Bill Sienkiewicz's work. Again, not as an influence. I'm just saying. I wonder. I would assume that he knows Sienkiewicz. I mean, you never know. You never know what people are into. It's hard to say. Comics is, we're into it, so you kind of assume like, oh, how could they not? But if you don't follow comics, you might not see it. But I think with comics, oh, that's cool. He's such a maverick. Oh god, look at all the toasters. That's funny because he did a book called Straight Toasters. But I had a friend that shared an office with Bilstein Kevich early in his career, Joe Chido. And Joe, I don't know if Joe told me these stories. Bill's he's out there, but that's kind of the fun. Like, I don't want to get into like the internet drama and stuff like that, but look, artists are opinionated. We're rebels. We all have different personalities, and in fact, I mean, it can be a volatile combination. But whether or not I agree with any artist's opinions and the way that they see life and politics and social stuff, whatever it is, it's all interesting. You know, like, do I want to hang out with Francis Bacon? No, probably not. He was an alcoholic. He was, I believe, violent. You know what I mean? Some of these guys, Jackson Pollock, they're wild people. But that's what makes it interesting. And I think to try to sanitize that is a big mistake, my opinion. I don't have to agree with them. People go, you. Oh, I'm not gonna get into all this bullshit. All right, who is that? Looks like Lee Van Fleet. Is that his name? It looks like it kind of looks like an album cover too. It's like the Lee Van Fleet Synchronicity 2. Ooh, look at this. Oh, that's cool. 2K1, the 80s New Mutants. It's nice. And this does have a Ralph Stedman vibe to me. Again, is he influenced by Ralph Stedman? I have no idea. But if you like this type of look, like this type of Sienkiewicz, you probably definitely would like Ralph Stedman's art. So. More lines, more lineages, more standing on the shoulders of our heroes, and more vampires. I think what's kind of fun about his Instagram too is I felt that there was a higher likelihood that we would see pieces that we might not be as familiar with. You know, you could miss them, or you might pull out some oddball thing. Oh, that's cool. That's cool too. Bill has actually gotten quite a nice booth for Comic Con the last couple of years, although with COVID it hasn't happened. But the last year that I went to Comic Con, he had actually gotten a really beautiful, booth, not just a table, and they set it up like almost like how Alex Ross has his, a little smaller, but it looked nice. It looked expensive. When you walked in there, you're like, I can't afford any of this. Which is good. I mean, I'm happy to see artists thriving. That's really interesting. It looks like he took. Well, I thought this was a sketch cover, but it's like there's clearly some digital stuff going on. It's pretty cool though. It's like three things in one. Really cool. Ooh. Anyone around when this stuff was coming out, like when it initially like dropped? I'd be curious to know. I like these covers a lot. Mm-mm-mm. Oh yeah, I remember when he did this. Oh yeah. One of his Batman pieces went missing. I don't know if it got lost in shipping, something like that. I don't know if it was this. This is nice, man. Really good interpretation of Frank Miller's Batman, Dark Knight. That's cool. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to do that. Sorry. There's another artist that I was spacing out on. Oh god, the poster artist that did Apocalypse Now. I might remember his name. He's definitely influenced by him too. Oh, what is his name? That was the other guy that I was actually gonna pull some stuff up of. He was really good. We'll see if my mind kicks it over to me. Come on, brain. I'm trying. I'm not really thinking of it. I'll just see if it happens. This is cool. This is very strokey. Like there's a lot of almost looks like the whole drawing is just based on like almost like ribbons of shape. It's kind of cool how he did that. You can see it like kind of like this and this, and even like the legs and stuff like that. They're all these like fun kind of things like that. It's cool. Man, it's like big muscle. Boom. Oops. That's really interesting. I was like this, the where he gets this kind of smoky atmosphere, with the like kind of smudged paint. My phone nearby. This is really pretty. Man, so creative. Just these paint strokes with that wide brush, and then these more delicate, like tighter ones. It's really, really nice combination of looks. That's cool. While we're looking at this, or hold on, I'll go to the next one. Oh, haha, that's cool. Straight from the comic. This is kind of like, you can see Bilstein Kevich and Neil Adams sort of like, it's like together in this one piece a little bit more from the period. This is nice. I like the fish on her eyes. Oh, is this Typhoid Mary? I feel like I've seen this before. Can't remember what that's from. Oh man, look at this. Ah, it's so cool. Batman just looks so tired. Even the horse looks tired. It's like, bruh, we're doing too much, Batman. Grabbing my phone out. I'm gonna Google that artist when we it's gonna piss me off now. Now it's become a mission. All right, I'm gonna Google it really quick while we're looking at this. All right, let's do it here. Apocalypse Now. Movie poster. Artist. That'll be good enough. I want to say his name is Robert something. What the fuck? It's like all these bootleg posters of it. Oh, Bob Peak. That's what I was thinking of. People are screaming at the screen. Bob Peak. I was right though, Robert. It was funny. Is so when I was going into the video and I was like, I definitely want to do Bernie Fuchs, and I kept going like, is it Robert Fawcett? But it was Bob Peak. That's it. Damn. We'll definitely do a video where we'll all look at Bob Peak, and I'll find other artists that are influenced by Bob Peak, and we'll look at some Bob Peak, because Peak is definitely an inspiration for Sienkiewicz, no doubt about it. So I remembered like 25 artists' names, but Peak escaped me. Son of a gun. Never again. This is nice. So these are interesting. I don't know if like I don't really follow like variant covers and stuff like that, but this looks very similar to the other cover that he did, and then the other one he had just taken like some color and like looked like the Dodge tool and kind of lit it up. Really, really nice drawing though. Very solid head. Oh, that's cool. But definitely Google Bob Peak. His stuff is great. You will enjoy it a lot. Okay, that's interesting, and that's very Neil Adams. Oh, it's cool. It's very childlike with the proportions. I'm not really sure where Sienkiewicz lives, but it would be really interesting to like go to his studio and see him work. Not that he would invite me. I'm just saying, like for anyone that would ever have that opportunity, would be really cool. There is a long video of him kind of like talking at like an art school. That's pretty interesting. I haven't watched it in a while, but I have I have listened to it before for sure. This is cool. Man, he's so bold. So this should be good vitamins for everyone's head today. You're gonna come away from this video a better person and a better artist. With what? More tools in your toolbox. Your mental toolbox. That's cool. Wow. Gosh, that's a great piece. Really, really is. Oh, hold on. Okay, so we're gonna grab more. We'll go through one more big batch of Sienkiewicz. Sienkiewicz. In fact, let's go. We're gonna head towards sort of what he's been posting. Let's see. This looks like a good chunk. Let's start here. Go to here. And then we'll wrap this up. I don't want to go too long. I actually got to get to work. I'm finishing a page. Ooh, okay, yeah. Oh, this is good. Oh, yeah, I forgot he did the Dune adaptation. I have that. It's like a Marvel magazine. Although they probably have reprinted it, but it is really good. Oh, that's funny. It's the cover that we were looking at before, but this is like the painting. You can actually see the texture on the canvas and stuff like that. Wonder if he still owns this. Very cool. Oh, let's go full screen mode. We're not really going in any particular order. Okay. Oh, wow. Carnage. When I see Bilstein Kevich's art, like, I don't know why I was like, this guy's got balls of steel when it comes to like laying down color and stuff like that, because he knows he can just paint right over it. If he doesn't like something, he can just take it out, wipe it out. If it's oils or even acrylic, you can sort of deconstruct it. But watercolor is more unforgiving for sure. But like, it looked to me like this is like a pen and ink drawing that he's put watercolor on it, and he controls it really well. God, it's beautiful though. Fuck. And it's got some of those Bernie Fuchs sort of like that very hot like light that's coming through, and you'll see that like with Bob Peak's stuff if you go check that out. Story to me is more of the abstract kind of wild stuff that Bill would throw in his thing, the handwriting and the weird like craziness, and it's possible. I mean, I don't know where Bill got like a lot of these different ideas initially. You know, what inspired him. That's cool. Damn. I mean, I would honestly, if someone showed me this, I would think that this is like a really nice Neil Adams piece, more recent, but man, it's crazy. Maybe with someone else inking him or something, but man, it's crazy that he can still flex his muscles. Oh, this is cool. That's funny. Oh, what a fun piece. This is really cool. Oh man, that's great. Oh, this is so cool. Man, what a great cover. Oh my gosh, that's cool on so many different levels. I love the funky gun. His armor's great too. I love the van. The girl, like, I don't even know what you call it. Is it a sniper rifle? I'm not sure. Man, that's great. Some pen and ink. Pen ink. Dune. This is the cover for that film adaptation. Wow, is this Bill? I wouldn't even know. I'm not sure what the reference is, if this is a Bilstein Kevich piece or not. I don't see his signature. It'd be funny if it's him. I would not recognize this as him at all. It's not honestly badly drawn though. It's fine. Oh wow. Man, that's cool. That's really neat. Oh my gosh. I cannot wait to be done with Crystal Planet. I have 2 more issues left. I have 4 pages left of issue 3. I'll be done by Friday, and then I'm going right into 4 and right into 5, and I should be done in about 2 months. I'm so excited. I can't wait to just have total freedom and get on Blaster Kid and just do all this stuff that I want to do. But I just have to stay focused. Get it done. Get her done. Get her done. That's cool. This is nice. This is... I almost feel like this is a throwback to some of his other pieces, because this reminds me of some other stuff. And this actually has... This is kind of Bob Peakish, to be honest. I'm glad I actually remembered that. But there was a lot of film poster artists back in the day that not this cartoony, but you know, would do these types of layouts, these like collages or montage, whatever you want to call it. Man, it's really nice though. Damn. It's really cool that he drew the chair in like red ink too. There's a little bit of a different color on parts of it, but yeah, it's nice. And Bill actually inked a lot for a while. It was very weird. It was like sort of like the last like 5 or 10 years I was at Wildstorm. I was a little bit surprised, because he's such a great artist on his own, how many times he was inking jobs. And I don't know if it was just like, because I can relate, where you don't have to think about it as much. You know, you get the page, it's drawn, you go and you ink it, and you get a paycheck, and it makes your life a little bit more simple. Whereas with penciling or painting, you know, you're using more mental energy potentially to like lay things out, and you're dealing with, you know, drawing not problems, but like, it is problem solving. But yeah, I always kind of wondered what was going on with that period for him, that he chose to ink for so many jobs. It's like, you were out, bro. You don't need to ink. You're Bilstein Kevich. Just do your own work. Wow, that's crazy. It almost feels like a jock piece, but colored by someone else. This, like, up here feels a little like jock. It's bigger is better, Rich. Take it all the way. It's a pretty cool Batwoman, actually. She looks hot. Alright, what is this? Whoa. Magic. Fire. Electricity. It's funny because it's more of a coincidence than anything, but as soon as I'm done here, I'm going to actually post a piece on Instagram, and I've had to do a lot of like lightning and sort of magical effects and stuff like that, and the piece I'm posting today has got a lot of this sort of glitz, the energy to it. You'll see. It's pretty cool. Doctor Doom. I've never drawn Doctor Doom. In fact, most superheroes I haven't ever drawn. So someday I might not create like little sort of challenges for myself. It's actually Ben Templesmith has been doing a lot of different picks like a category. I mean, he's doing like an Inktober thing right now, though it's not Inktober. He's calling it Dinotober, but it's been fun to watch. He's really doing some great shit. But yeah, he just picks like a subject, and for like every day he knocks out like a drawing. He clearly isn't on as tight of a schedule as I am for work, because I wouldn't be able to. I'm already drawing like 10 hours a day. This is weird. So I don't know if these were whips of this piece. But yeah, I don't have time for extras right now. That's really good. Damn. Wow, it's so cool. Man, that's really nice. I like the sword design a lot. Her face too. I like how he pulled her mouth out. If you look, like the lips are protruding, so he really pulled this like mask thing forward. And even the bottom lip is like coming towards us. It's really cool. Good stuff. Right now. Interesting. I was like, what is this? And then I saw his face. That's some hot colors. Hot. Oh, it's David Bowie? That was a little hard to tell. Yeah, it's Bowie. Sting, who got stung. This is from '83. Damn, that was a long time ago. I don't know if this is just a detail shot of that cover or if he did like a study before he did it or maybe just did it as an extra piece. Oh, that's nice. Struzen's personal work has a little bit of this kind of vibe. If you've ever like got any of his books or his website, King's. Oh no, it's Black Panther. I was like, what is that? Hey, don't talk to my cat. Predator. Mutants. It's cool. Yeah, so lots of ideas and options and different things you can maybe experiment here with approaches. Hopefully it gives you a little bit of food for thought and some inspiration. Hendrix. He did a really great job on the Hendrix book, though. I will say that it is pretty awesome. That's cool. I wonder if this was an unused version of the cover or. This reminds me of someone else's work. The colors. I'm trying to think of who it is. I can't think of it. It's a comic book artist, but the way it's colored kind of reminds me of it. Oh man, that's cool. That is some textured paper or a very small drawing blown up big. Those are some big pleats. Or unless he. I don't know. Well, it looks like it's the texture of the paper. I'm not sure. That's a tough one. I can't really tell. These strokes of paint have such a texture to it. It's interesting, but the rest of the piece doesn't have it as much. I don't know if the ink versus the wash acts differently. It's hard to tell. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's cool. This is like some old school Bill. Man, I'll definitely have to watch this back tonight. This is a lot of art to take in. Sin City. Sin City. City of Sin. Oh, the dog is like. It's killed a lot of stuff. Squirrels, fire hydrants, mailmen, vacuums. That's actually pretty funny. Oh, here's another Hendrix piece. This really is like nuts. I remember years ago looking at the book and like trying to figure out how he did some of these effects. I'm still not 100% sure if they're paste ups or whatever, but like some of these effects in the background were really wild. And then even he would do this with gold pen, the music notes at these crazy like warped angles. And I mean, you could definitely just draw it. But it's still really impressive what he had going on. It was really wild. Some good shit. Hendrix's music too, I think, really kind of plays into Bill's style. It's nice. It's really good, actually. Oh. Okay, I'm gonna wrap it up. In fact, let's see. I'm not sure how many more pieces, but I'm kind of like really should get going. That's nice. Wow. I don't know if does Bill do comic book stories anymore. Kind of don't think so. Would actually be really fun to see him do like one more painted book. I dig it. Oh, that's cool. This is really nice. Actually, I like this a lot. Wow. Damn. Beefcake. Oh. Yeah, these pieces are weird. It's not weird in a bad way, but there's like it just there's a realism to the actual proportions and stuff like that. That's really rotate it if we can't. No, it's not gonna let me. But yeah, it's interesting because the structure is different than when he draws just like the kind of more wacky stuff where it's a little more you know, things are sort of warping. Oh, that's cool. Whew. Okay, I'm done. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is probably about an hour and 20-minute video, so it should be a nice one to watch. Really fun checking all this stuff out. Thank you so much for the recommendation. I really highly encourage you guys to like give me recommendations for a little bit of a influence chain, we'll call it. And let's have some fun next Sunday and do another one. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Have a great week. Bye.